I went down every dead end and every roundabout and kept going around them for forever, which is fine because now I can tell you that and you don't have to go down those dead ends. But it's basically, the freedom formula is why I created it because there is a pathway out and it is pretty clear.
Welcome to Now What, a podcast for women in midlife navigating reinvention, identity, and what's next. I'm your host, Melissa, and around here we keep it honest, unfiltered, and always find a reason to laugh. Because midlife isn't a crisis, it's just a plot twist. Let's go. Today's guest is mantling one of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves. I am the problem. Lori Montry is a somatic healing practitioner, author of You're Not the Problem, and creator of the Freedom Formula, a nervous system-based roadmap for sustainable behavior change. Her work centers on one powerful truth. You are not the problem. The behaviors you judge, the patterns you can't seem to break, the overwhelm, the self-doubt, they make sense once you understand what's driving them. And when you see the logic behind her patterns, change does become possible. Her story begins with early childhood trauma, but what she built from that pain isn't just resilience, it's a movement, a framework, a way back home. Today, we're talking trauma, dissociation, eating disorders, overachieving, blowing up the life that looks good on paper, and what it actually takes to come back to yourself. Glot Squad, get ready. We're going there. Please join me in welcoming to Now What, Lori Montry. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I've been really looking forward to this time in this incredible space that you have created for all of us. So let's
Oh,
do it.
oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. As I said when we first logged on, Lori, I was very deeply moved by um, the introduction of your book, You're Not the Problem. And your authenticity, your vulnerability. At what point we're gonna get in the book, but when did you decide I'm gonna write this book and share it with the world?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the book has been on my heart for a long time, and I'm really glad that I didn't really dive into the project until now because I know that I wasn't ready until now. You
Mhm.
know, yes, the information was there, the research and all of that was there. It was percolating and all of that, but really, I don't think that I was ready to share in the way that I did until now. I've definitely opened up over time, but when I first decided, oh man, this is incredible. The life that I used to live and the life that I have now, I've got to share this. Like it felt criminal to keep it to
Mm.
myself, right? And when I first decided to share, say 14, 15 years ago, I was like, but I got to do it under some name. I got to make up a name because I can't let people know that that was me that I was talking about. I never told a soul anything,
Wow.
nothing. I was so deeply private, not my family, not my closest friends. Nobody knew I struggled with food and overexercising and the deep self-hatred that I had. Nobody knew. So for me to go from that to, hey, pull up a chair. Let me tell you about, all the ways that I've struggled in all the ways that, what my life looked like underneath my fancy diplomas and my, riches or whatever. So I'm so glad, everything went in perfect timing. And my editor had quite a bit to do with it as well. I started down a path saying, I've struggled and she's like, "That's not gonna cut it, girl."
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I think so many people can relate to that, the suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And that is why, a big mission of mine of Now What, the pod is to share stories, create community because you aren't alone.
Yeah.
Even though we're going to get into you had a very traumatic upbringing, but you're not alone, but I'm sure and we've all felt alone. Oh, no one will understand. No, once you've let this out, were you surprised of what feedback have you gotten? Like, oh my gosh, I can so
Yeah.
relate to you.
Yeah, it was
Thank you.
incredible. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have I have an early reader team, and so they are, just kinda going through the book. It's releasing in April, but they've been working, with it, and, the first section when I sent it out, I got back, "You know what? Me too. This happened,"
Yes.
or "I struggle with this," and for the first time, they're saying it out loud, even to
Yeah.
themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I almost think that's one of the hardest parts is first to admit it to yourself, right? Whatever it is.
Sure.
Well, your bravery, and I think this is going to help so many people. And so we're going to just get into it.
Yeah,
Let's,
most
okay. So, okay. You state that although you couldn't have known it during your darkest and heaviest years, everything of your past supplied you with the raw ingredients. And I love that was so interesting to me that you phrased it as raw ingredients and that you needed to find your way home. And separately, these ingredients, aka your separate experiences, just like ingredients of a cake, as you compared to a cake, like the sugar alone does not taste good. Butter alone, you can't eat that much, but then together you can make the most delicious cake ever. Um, and but those ingredients together, just like your past experiences, brought together something beautiful and for you to share your story. So I assume that happened over time. Like you said, you didn't realize it at the time. Was there an aha moment like, no, this is actually a beautiful thing that I can share with everyone, your story?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I don't think there was an aha moment.
Mhm.
I don't think I had really very many. There are certainly moments where you're just like, wow, you see something that you've been, seeing for a long time, but you don't really see it, right? But I
Yes.
think it happened in stages where it was like, okay, I accept that those things happen to me. Okay, I can see, some traits that I developed as a result of those. But and that's why I'm glad the book waited till now, waited for me to be in a place where I was like, yeah, wow, that created me. It created a
Yes.
me that could have never existed without those. And I really like this version. So, whatever happened to get me here, I honor it. I wouldn't wish it. I don't think it was put on me so that I could be this. I just think, okay, here's what they are, and I can choose. I can choose, well, I can't succeed, or I can't be this, or I can't be happy because these things happen to me. Or I can say, okay, these things happen to me. Now what am I going to do with them? I'm going to put them in a bowl. I'm going to mix them up, and right, we're going to create that beautiful. And that opportunity is available to all of us.
Yes, and that is the message that I really want you guys, Gloss Squad, to get across. You're not the problem, and you can create a new life for yourself. So, okay, let's do a brief review. Okay, you were the second youngest of 7.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's a busy house. When I showed up, the house was plenty busy on its own
What
without
year were you born? May I ask how old you are?
1971.
Oh, same as me. Okay, yeah, 54. Okay. Um, wow. Okay, second youngest of 7. You were a product of an affair that no one else knew about.
Yeah.
That's a big burden.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it until I was in my 40s.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I blended in well enough.
Did you ever, looking back, be like, there's a part of me I don't feel like I totally fit in, or no? It was just
For sure, of feeling like I don't fit in, but I never suspected that that would
sure,
be one of the reasons, and I think there were many.
sure.
But I think, on a subconscious, on a spiritual level, I think we know. That
Yeah,
there's something that we're missing something,
right.
and my father, I'll just say, incredible man, very, very loving, wouldn't have wanted it any other way, but in fact, half of me, came from somewhere that I'll never know.
Right.
I
Did
think we
your
feel that.
father know? I mean, did your
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I'm 99% sure both of my parents have passed.
Yes.
So it's, it's not possible to get a whole lot more information than what I have, but I really don't think so.
Sure. Okay. And then at the age of 4 years old, you were sexually assaulted.
Yeah, yeah, for a period of time. Mhm.
Yeah. And you say you didn't realize it at the age of 4, obviously, but you describe your trauma response as dissociation.
Mhm.
What exactly is dissociation?
Yeah, it's a brilliant strategy that we will employ when we don't feel like we have any other option. There's no option to run away, there's no option to fight. And so we go into dissociation in order to protect ourselves, to not be there fully. And it is certainly a spectrum, but to not have to go through it. It's brilliant, and it did save me, but it
Mhm.
also had a lot of, other ramifications. You don't get to close down just to the bad stuff and stay open to the good stuff. So, from that point on, I missed out on a lot of good stuff.
Right. Right. You also mentioned that with dissociation, you survive by adapting
Mhm.
and that your system learned better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
What were some of the adaptations you acquired and how did they help you feel safe and survive?
Yeah. So I became a very reserved, very much of a wallflower, just don't
Mhm.
be noticed, right? I also developed the belief that other people weren't safe. I mean,
Sure.
they weren't, right? And
Correct.
I I
Right.
didn't have a truly healthy relationship. And so, and I had people obviously doing bad things to me. So people
Right.
weren't safe. So I built this little, this wall around me essentially and didn't let anybody in. Even though I wanted it, right? It wasn't safe. So I just walled off and was very alone. And nobody could get in. I also developed the beautiful adapted behavior of emotional eating because that gave me some of that comfort, right? That I was missing out on. I certainly didn't know how to give it to myself. I hadn't developed that skill yet.
Right.
Couldn't find it outside of me. And so food became my friend. It became my comforter and my support system. And it made sense, but it created, its own set of problems.
For sure. For sure. And we're going to get into that next. Um at what point does your survival become your identity?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and I think it so many factors that are involved here, but especially when we have things happen when we're little, when we haven't developed any other identity yet. We don't have anything to kind of compare
Right.
it to or to in the mix, right? It just this is who we are, and up until the age of, estimates vary, but certainly before the age of 8, we are just sponges. We're trying to figure out everything. Everything is coming in, and it is intense, and we are building our identity in so many ways, right? So, I think honestly, I can't there isn't a point where I could say that that's the time when became my
Sure.
identity. Um, it really developed in those times of extreme need, right? To
Yeah.
decide quickly, who am I gonna be here? Sometimes, but that's not to say you need an intense experience to develop a survival identity, right? That it can build over weeks and months in the quiet moments where you were left out of the lunch table, where you were bullied, where you were
Yes.
told, speaking with someone over the weekend, and she was like, her parents told her that they decided to have another baby because she was too spoiled. And this is like she's a little girl, she's 5 years old or
Well, yeah,
something.
it's like they're the
And
ones
like,
spoiling her.
exactly.
No, and you say everyone has adaptations.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone has adaptations. We all have those moments that subconsciously stay in the back of your mind. Like you said you had a mother who was emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
You had a mother who was emotionally unavailable. I mean, And you set an example. I mean, I can't even imagine with 7 kids. I have 3 kids, and the times where, like, you went up and said, "Oh, color with me." I was like, "Oh," and it made me reflect on myself, like, "Oh my god, how many times when it was, like, 7:30 PM,
Yeah.
gotten barely through the day, it's bedtime, and someone wants to, like, read a book," and I'm sure there are moments where I'm like, "Ugh." You know, and like when you just said the first 8 years, their kids are sponges, and I actually it's petrifying as a parent, like, "Oh god, what did I do to
Yeah,
mess
but it
them
doesn't
up?"
mean that
Like,
perfect, right? It
no,
means
right.
and you showed them like, "Hey, this is
I'm
humanity.
human.
This" Exactly, and that's okay, we don't
Yes,
serve our children necessarily by being 100% there, available for,
yes.
every single thing ever. So, of course, you did, and that's not it's easy for us as parents, right, to look back and be like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yes, yes, and I'm trying as I get older, it's like what were our intentions, right? And
totally."
you even say, I understood my mom, she was exhausted.
Mhm. Yeah, I understand now because
Now.
I have 6 children and 2 stepchildren, so
Oh,
it's like,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes,
"Okay,
which that is
right."
interesting. So I am an only child, but I married in my husband's one of 5. And so I think you either go with what you're used to or
Mhm.
you go the opposite. And I love like growing up, I had a great childhood, but like it was dull at times. And so I was drawn towards friends were from big families and I would just go and like it was like showtime. You know what I mean? I was like
Yeah,
sit on the couch and some older sibling would be fighting with their parents and it was just
right.
the chaos was fascinating to me. So, I was interested that you have 6 children of your own and plus 2.
Wow.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's amazing. Okay, so you mentioned you could then go into an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Um, and I've had my own food issues myself,
Mhm.
which has led me to turning my, I guess you could say, addiction into more of a passion. I went into nutrition and fitness coaching. So reframing that, but it's a process, and I was really, um these 2 quotes that you said in the book just really stuck out to me. Tormented by fear, shame, bewilderment, and ever-growing anxiety, I felt desperate for an escape, some form of comfort I could count on. I found it in the refrigerator. I ate not because I was hungry, but because it soothed the storm inside of me. And I think that is so powerful, and I think so many people can relate to that who have
Mhm.
had eating disorders or whatever the thing is.
Yes.
Drugs, alcohol, food,
Shopping,
shopping, workaholic, over exercising.
scrolling. I mean, we could do this all day.
Oh yeah, we could yeah, you could do this all day.
Mopping the floor. I mean,
Yes, it's never
whatever.
about the food. It's
Yeah.
the emotion behind it.
The need. Yeah.
The need. How many years were you thick into your eating disorder? And what
Nearly,
pulled you out of it?
yeah, th 35 years only. And,
So you
I
say only.
only
I that's interesting. I love that. I love that because my first reaction was like, "Oh my god." But then you reframe. Look at you. See, I'm already learning. Only. Only. It is the words we speak to ourselves, the
Mhm.
self-talk are so important. You also touch on that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, yeah. Um, yeah, so what pulled me out, it was I was struggling to overcome it from the day it began. Taken to the doctor at 6, and told, "Hey, girl, you need to lose weight." I took that to heart, and I started trying really hard to overcome this behavior. So, it was, trial and failure for decades, and it was just getting ready, to be able to overcome it, and it was honestly a different perspective that opened the door. So, I was always signing up for something, right? This thing that was gonna come and save me.
Oh, I
Uh
call myself a professional ex-fad dieter. I did it all.
Yes.
I counted the points. I ate that horrible food that had a shelf life of 100 years. The
Oh
cabbage
my
soup
gosh.
diet. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Or the my favorite one that I was, or remembered when I was writing the book was those freaking chips made with
Oh, Olestra.
cholesterol.
Oh, oh my
Good
God.
lord. My stomach
Olestra.
hurts thinking about it right now.
Oh, and you would just have to run to the bathroom, not to be
Yeah,
disgusting.
and I hope you would make it, right?
Holy, but I'm gonna eat this because I can. They're healthy.
Because I can. Because there was something so alluring about being able to break the rules and not have to pay the consequences.
Yes, that's very interesting. Break the rule, beat the system.
Beat the system.
Beat
Yeah.
the system. And you mentioned this too that we're gonna get into is you realize, with anything, we can't avoid it. You gotta
Mhm,
go through,
mhm, mhm.
right? You had to go through reflecting on your past and reframing it, going around it, numbing it with food. You can't do that with anything, and it sucks
It
at the
does
time.
suck, but it's just choosing our hard because going on
Yes,
holiday is hard too. And it that sucks, right? Because your whole life is on hold until you can
yes.
find yourself and your resourcing, right? That's a hard, hard life. So going through it is hard. But when you come out the other side, and this is what, if you don't have that experience yet, how do you know it's worth it? It's that's a hard thing, and that's one of the things that I really wanna hold space for. Yes, it will be worth it. I know today sucks. I know, I know, I know. But
Yes, and you're not the problem. You're
right,
not broken. And I
100.
think a lot of women, especially menopause, we're broken. We're
Oh my
broken.
gosh. Yeah,
No, we're not
yeah,
broken.
yeah. Well, we're told we're broken.
Yes.
Every time we open our phone and there's the latest solutions for all the horrible things about us, we're
Yes.
we're being told we're broken. Maybe not in those words, but
Yes.
oh, 100%.
Because it sells.
Yeah, yeah.
Stress and anxiety and fear sell. And it's living from fear versus what is possible. Okay, I have to bring up this story because I literally wanted to hunt down this first grade teacher of yours. You guys, you're gonna freak out when you hear this story.
Yeah, it's pretty
In
incredible.
first grade, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope, there you go.
It was the topic was health, right?
It was weight, actually,
Oh,
so it was
oh,
like
actually, wait, can you imagine that
yeah,
happening?
understanding, pounds and that kind of thing, yeah.
So Lori's first grade, was it a woman?
Yes.
First grade teacher brings in a scale, brings in a scale, and has every child. If you're first grade, what? You're 6 years old.
Mhm.
Has every child weigh themselves and then puts their weight on the chalkboard, ranks it from thinnest to heaviest. And our beautiful Lori was the heaviest. And then, of
Huh.
course, was teased. I mean, Lori, I literally have, I mean, just be,
Yeah.
I rage.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, she put it from heaviest to lightest, so I was
Oh,
right
you're number
on
one. Oh,
top.
great.
Yeah, I'm on top, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Lori, I want to hunt down that teacher. I want to slip it. I'm not going to say what's actually going through my head.
Oh, right? Yeah. It does sound
talk
really good.
about talk about uh, uh, what adaptation
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that messaging, right? And it comes in so many forms, and of course she wasn't, her intent was not to shame. She thought
no
to
though.
herself, "Oh, what's a weight that they can relate to? Oh, their
Oh my
bodies."
god.
But man, seeing that, and actually in the 1st grade, I think if I remember correctly, I was probably about 5 pounds lighter than I am now. A good, what,
54 years
foot
old.
and a half, yeah, foot and a half shorter, and so it was, yeah, it was horrifying, and it really, I already knew, right, in my mind that I was broken, that I was wrong, that I was disgusting. I already knew that. So, to
And
have
you're
it displayed, um
well, and again, an adult you're
yeah,
supposed to trust, which you are,
yes, exactly,
right? You're adult, you're supposed to be able to trust. Your teacher
mhm,
is now confirming the thought in your head, which isn't a reality, but our thoughts feel like reality,
exactly, yeah.
that you're wrong. I mean, that is yeah. So you also say that numbness wasn't weakness. It was your nervous system trying to save you.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a little more? Reframe
Yeah.
when you made the connection between numbness and your nervous system.
Yeah. So, the experiences themselves, right? Especially the abuse, it was so horrifying that my system knew I couldn't
Mhm.
possibly hold that. I couldn't possibly be even a witness to that, right? So the way that we get through really hard things is just by going away, just by, no, I'm not going to feel that. So I literally cut off from my body
Mhm.
from then going forward. Like I have no idea when did I get my first period. I don't know. I don't know
Mhm.
so many things about my body because I had to make the decision that I couldn't be in there.
Mm.
It
Right.
saves us. It saves us. It's kind of like, an animal in the wild when they realize, okay, the fight is over, the run is over, I'm gonna get eaten. Same thing, right? They just are essentially numb and they go into the freeze state, right? So that's what, and you can be in the freeze state and still function like a robot, still go through the motions, but you're not alive inside. And I didn't know that because it happened so early. I didn't know that I was cut off from my body. This was just my experience in life,
Right.
you
Think
know?
about how many people, and I'm sure there are times in each of our lives we've disassociated from our bodies,
For
but we
sure.
may not have realized it.
Right. Right.
So I think everyone, I'm sure light bulbs are going off right now, like, oh my gosh, yes.
Mhm.
During this time, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Or I'm like thinking back, when would I know it, I'm sure I did, but I can't pinpoint a moment yet.
Yeah. And that's
But
often the case because we weren't there.
yes, like, right. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is another thing, like, your story is so inspirational in relating to midlife too. We don't have to live that way.
Mm,
Take
mhm,
up space,
mhm.
right? You say you were raised like, "You're too much." I mean, hello, you wrote in the book, like, "You're too loud." Hello, my whole life. You've heard my podcast. Although not my whole life. I grew up painfully shy, believe it or not. And in 5th grade, I took a drama class, and my mom was like, "Good lord. I don't know what happened. You really found your voice."
Yeah.
You know? So, I even to this day get, "Oh, you're still loud yourself," and it's like, "Yeah, take it or leave it. I'm not a cup
You're
of tea."
welcome, right?
Okay, that's what you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I love that. Okay, so we're going to talk about from surviving to, you can phrase it as worth,
Mm, mhm.
chasing worth, because
Yeah.
you've grown up, I'm unworthy. All these adults have reiterated that in their actions and their words that you're unworthy.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yes.
you do all the things. You become a 4.0 student.
Mhm.
You go to the top law school. You get married, you have 6 kids, you are super high functional on paper, super successful, right? The gram feed is like
Mhm.
perfect,
Right, right, right.
right?
Mhm.
Um, but then you say, I discovered something profound. Those voices of not enoughness weren't mine because you were just kept reaching. It was never enough,
Yeah.
right? You had all the accolades. So if they're not yours, who are they?
Yeah. They were the voices of the first grade teacher, of the boys who teased me on and then they became mine, right? We internalize those
Right.
voices and then we don't need anything outside of us, and the other thing that happens is our brilliant brains through confirmation bias start to filter out any evidence that we are enough. Or we might
Yes.
see it for a moment, but then it lasts like 5 minutes. Oh, win a race or, get some academic award and be like, "Oh, this is so great. Maybe I am worthy." And it lasts for, 90 seconds, and then you're like, "Okay, well, that was before, right? That's old now. I need something else. I need
Mhm.
something else. I need something else." So the voices, they weren't my truth. They were mine. To the extent that I heard them coming from inside, but they weren't my truth. And that's what I mean more than, they weren't mine. They weren't truly me.
Right. But it's getting to that moment, and don't worry, we're gonna get into that, squad. Getting to that moment, I think of acknowledging that, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And then B, taking action to reframe that, which is thank God you wrote 3 books to guide us through that. So never fear, friends. Help is on the way. Lori has her Wonder Woman cape on, and she is going to save us all. Okay, so there was I mean, so many moments stopped me in my tracks. It
Mm,
really is riveting. But you say what once saved me was now suffocating me. So your protections, what you're using to survive, though, now wasn't serving you.
right.
And you said you had the power to adapt again, not to survive, but to return.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm goosebumps just saying, Laura, I'm like, my eyes are like swelling
Great
up and
opportunity. Yeah.
I have goosebumps. So how does someone return?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can tell you the easy answer. It's certainly not. I don't want to pretend like this is the path that I took cleanly, right? I went down every dead end and every roundabout and kept going around them for forever, which is fine because now I can tell you that, and you don't have to go down those dead ends. But it's basically, the freedom formula is why I created it, because there is a pathway out and it is pretty clear. I didn't have it, but that's how you discover these things. And the first piece of that, the first foundational element is book one, which is working with your adaptations, your nervous system, and to some degree the adaptations of your thoughts, your mind, those beliefs. It's actually dealt with more specifically in the second phase. But in that first phase, we need three things to get out of survival before we can do anything else. And those three things are safety in your system, capacity, and energy. Because without those, you can't do the things. You can't even think new thoughts about yourself or perceive the world any differently if you don't have those three. And I
Mhm.
think that's where we get stuck, is that we think we go straight to the behavior and we aren't setting ourselves up with the conditions we need to actually take those steps, to actually change. The work starts back here with these three foundational elements that then create the conditions for what you ultimately want. People say, I don't want to, no, I don't want to wait that long, right? I want my results today. And so it's about learning and understanding how crucial this is. This is the foundation, the basement of our beautiful house that we're trying to build here. And if we start building second floor balconies, but we don't have a strong foundation, they're going to crumble. And every time they crumble, we're like, yep, see, told you I'm the problem. And that's just no way to live. It's cruel.
So I want you to state those 3 things again, because I think it's super duper important. I don't wanna get lost.
Yeah.
So state that
Safety,
again. Safety,
safety, capacity, and energy.
safety, capacity, and energy.
Yes, exactly. Those are our foundation.
Yep. And, okay, I wanna get a little more specific with adaptations. Um, as we said earlier, they happen to everyone.
Yes.
And some of the examples, I was like, "Oh my god, I can relate to a lot of the overworking." It doesn't have to be a very traumatic experience,
Mhm,
correct?
mhm, absolutely.
But overworking, people pleasing, that is one. I'm a reformed people pleaser.
Yeah, me too, 100%.
It saying no is the most powerful 2 letters, 1 word. I've learned is the most powerful word to say. It's not yes, it's no.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
That hit me. Emotional eating, perfectionism, hyper independence. What does that mean? Like I can do it all or
yeah,
I
I don't need
only
anybody. I don't need anybody. I
right?
got it, I got it, I got it, right?
Right. Well, that's a safety thing, right? Because
They all are.
right, right. They all are. Right, right. The adaptations that once were your survival tools
Yeah.
may now actually be holding you back in life.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of this go through this, but this has always been my thing, right? I've always been this way. I've always,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? How do you know? I mean, this is general question, but like, how do you know when they're now it's these things that are actually holding you back and not serving you? You've grown, you've moved on, you don't need those more. It's time
Mhm.
to shed those. But
Mhm.
I think that's very hard for people, myself included, to realize that. And then, well, then what? Now what?
Yes, now what?
Now what?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so, that's kind of the in the a little bit more in the authenticity phase, right, where you're figuring out, "Who am I? Because these don't have to be bad. Right? They
Right.
also don't have to be like, when we talk about people pleasing, that doesn't mean you're going to say no every time.
Right.
Well, it means that you're going to figure out, and this is the part that I think can be so confusing is people feel authentically they want to be there. They love taking care of the people that they take care of. And that is authentic to them right up into the point where they start to betray themselves in order to say yes. And that's when it becomes a sword against you, right? This beautiful gift that you love and that others love can become a sword. And that's when when we're saying yes, but we haven't had enough time for ourselves. And that's where things like, your emotions come in, your compass comes in to tell you, hey, you just crossed the line. Maybe not clearly at first. That's something that we kind of have to develop over time. But that compass will come in and you'll feel that resentment that you don't wanna feel. You'll find yourself turning to food or some other coping mechanism, or your system will be on guard, or you'll be sick. You'll be, whatever the message is, but you'll get a message, and that message will be like, "You stepped over the line."
I just had a few aha moments because what comes up for me is then I get angry at the person.
Yes.
But it was me who said yes, it's not their fault. Like, just because you're asked, you're invited, whether it's a phone call, a text. My mom always says, you don't have to respond. Just because you're invited doesn't mean you need to respond. If it's not good time for you, I do. I send a lot of people to voicemail. I put my friends can't stand it. My phone's on do not disturb a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and the other aha moment I had. So last year I trained and competed for the first time in a
I
bodybuilding.
saw that. It was such a cool journey. I love that.
It
I'd love
was.
to get to spend an hour talking to you about that.
Anytime,
Yeah.
anytime, and I'm gonna do it again, and it really is more about the journey than I mean, the show is great, but in reflecting for me personally, the journey was the tip of the iceberg.
Mhm.
The show is awesome, and I needed that cherry on top, but anyways, like, the last 3 months before the show, I mean, really, I don't know, and people on my team had, like, really full-time hardcore jobs, so I had no reason to play. I don't know how they did it because by the end you're in the gym for an hour, hour and a half. Your cardio is up to like an hour. It's a lot, right? It's a lot. And so I had to really shift my priorities and I wasn't always available for the last minute lunch or and so I did have to say no, but to your point, it wasn't I wasn't saying no because like in anger, it was like I this is my priority now. I love you all. I
Yeah.
do want to see you guys, but I just can't right now. And what was fascinating is you gotta give people a chance. The more boundaries I set for myself in regards to my time, it was like people almost respected me more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I bet you did too.
Oh my gosh. Well, I literally got goosebumps when I just said yes.
Yeah.
And it was such an interesting lesson for myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, there were honestly rarely anyone that didn't sure, half my friends thought I was crazy. We're like, "What the
Yeah.
hell are you" I'm like, "Believe me, I don't know what I'm doing either." The fear of being in less than a yard of material, Lori, really motivates you. That might not change it. That fear helped me.
Yeah.
But even though they're like, "This would be my worst nightmare," they still supported me,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to understand what someone like going to law school would be my nightmare, but I respect that you did it, man,
Right.
So it was very, very that was an aha moment that
It's
I
such
had.
a good example because
Yeah.
your brain told you survival brain said, "If you do this, they will leave you. They won't like you. They'll think you're selfish. They will talk about you. They will" whatever, the fears were. And you know what? Some people might, but that's okay too, you know?
Yes. Like, it's some people are gonna go along the ride with you and some aren't, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. At some point, and what I've gotten from your space and what you celebrate so beautifully is that switch in life when we start caring more about what we think of ourselves and more than what others think of us or what they need from us, And that is a beautiful time. Funny story. My one of my daughters is she has a spring break trip planned to Europe, and she doesn't want to go now
Mm.
but she doesn't wanna let her friends down and, all the things, and so as we were talking about it, I'm like, "Look, girl, you just need to go through menopause and, get into midlife, and then you'll just be like, 'Look, I cannot do anything that I don't wanna do anymore, like, even if I try really hard, so I'm not going, guys. I hope you have fun.'" You
Well,
know?
that's what it's funny because it is an age thing. I
Mhm.
wasn't like that when I was younger. So my question, I was gonna list. It's not so funny you bring up that story. Like, how do we teach our younger selves, our daughters, our sons? How do we teach the younger generation to say no? It's okay because I
Yeah.
couldn't have. I was afraid. Oh, I won't. They won't think of me as a fun party person. Or but
Mhm.
now it's like I'm too tired to give a crap.
Right, right, right,
And I
and you're
don't have to wait
following.
till 54 and
I
all
know, yeah.
flashy as a.
Well, what I noticed beautifully is that the steps that I've taken in my life, and some of them, turned my kids' lives upside down. It wasn't easy for
Referring
them
to the
either.
divorce.
Yeah.
Right, right. So let's mention that. So Lori has all these things on paper, right? The law degree, the 6 kids, the marriage,
Yeah.
and then you decide, no, this isn't working for me.
Me. It's not me. And that's kind of a scary place to be, especially when you haven't really figured out who are you. I feel like I was, you know, really, it's cliche, but born again. I'm like, I thought I was all of these things,
Yes.
and really that was performance. That was so I could
Yes.
be worthy and be enough and not be disgusting and not be that, listed on the blackboard as the worst one in the room. I'm like, "Okay, I am not gonna be the worst one. I'm gonna achieve where's the playbook?" Right? And I rocked the playbook, and then I was like,
Right.
"This sucks." I don't belong here. I'm so lonely. I didn't
I,
have me at
I
all.
yeah. I applaud you for sharing that because I think that is very common, especially with midlife women.
Yeah.
Especially like just like you said, you were told you're too much. I've been told I'm too loud. Just zip your lip.
Mhm.
Status quo, keep the peace, family unit, intact and just go along. And you're I don't know if you listened to my episode with Amy Ames is great. I've had her on a few times and she's gone through this amazing pivot and I like the term rebirth because it really is like
Yeah.
stay at home mom, country club wife, quiet PTA,
Mhm. Mhm.
to this isn't me. And I'm not saying everyone up and leave their marriage or whatever, but
Right,
got
right.
divorced. She's now a sex and relationship coach. She's never been happier.
Wow.
I mean, talking about a huge
Yeah.
pivot and redefining yourself. And it's just,
Yeah.
I love sharing those stories. Well, let's get to the big exclamation the freedom formula.
Yeah. Yeah. The fate.
Okay. So, all your past experiences, all your ingredients,
Mhm.
all those ingredients, the sugar, the butter, the this, that, led you to create the freedom formula.
Mhm.
What is that freedom formula?
Yeah, yeah. It is the exact roadmap. And you take it and it sounds like it's created for you, but the reason why it's successful every single time is because it's actually created by you for you. So it's a way to learn how to develop relationship with yourself. and to hear your truth and to respond to yourself in that beautiful, attuned way that you actually need. So it's three phases. And of course, and I just, I'm really honest about that. Like I will never sell. And I was told for so long in the beginning, no, you got to give somebody something they can do in 90 days there or, those. And I'm like, I won't. Like, don't ask me to do that again. I won't because they're going to do it and they're not going to be any better off. And then they're going to use that as evidence that they're broken and they're the problem. And I won't contribute to that. So I'm like really honest. I'm like, it's going to take a minute.
Bravo. Bravo.
Mhm.
But the secret, it's not even a secret, it's consistency.
Yeah.
Just consistency every day. You bring it up in the freedom formula. I had paid a lot of them. I did a full Mel Robbins class, and it was about whatever your goal is, start with 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So I agree. I love that you had the wherewithal to say, no, I'm not, because it won't work.
It'll work. Yeah. I don't want to be any part of that.
No. But we do live in fast book, and I love a quick fix,
Hmm.
but it's not the, you guys, it's not the answer. Okay. So back to the freedom formula. You break this out in 3 books.
Hmm. Yeah, 3 books, 3 corresponding, programs depending on how you like to learn and what you need, but that first piece is so essential, and it's what we've been talking about. It's getting out of survival mode, right? Survival mode, and I was thinking about it when thinking about your own journey and how much you had to put into it. If you were in survival mode, you may have had those goals and aspirations and desires, but you couldn't have followed through. And I don't know if you've ever had a time in your life when you tried to do something and you couldn't follow through. And what the yeah. And
Humorous.
yeah, it may be some of the difference there, right? What's the difference between what you've been able to accomplish this year and when you tried in the past? It could be that you didn't have the safety, capacity, and energy to follow through. And then I noticed this in myself. Like this last week, I did a little cleanup where I was just really focused on driving down insulin and inflammation. And I just, made it just the ideal week for myself. I had a little tiny eating window, like I was doing all these things and I remember I could not be, I could not follow through with any kind of eating restriction for more than honestly like an hour. If I set up something, I'm going to eat this way, I was feeling literally, I couldn't go more than an hour on any kind of plan, and I did set it a lot of it aside for quite a while because it was so triggering, and so for me, this last, week, 10 days, no alcohol and, like, I'm the same, like, my beautiful, wine with dinner, whatever, to say no, but what was really cool is every day when I sat in my morning time and reflected on that, I was like, I love that I had integrity with myself yesterday and how good it feels and how it used to feel so incredibly, ugh, like a betrayal of myself, to not be able to follow through.
The
And
shame,
the
the
shame,
self-talk.
yeah, the frustration, yeah. And now I know, I have safety, capacity, and energy, so I can follow through on stuff. And people who can't follow through is not a willpower problem. It's we're missing the safety and capacity and energy. So that's why we start there. Because to start with any other and put your effort into anything else, if those are not there, forget it. Right? And that's why the beautiful work of people like yourself and Mel Robbins and stuff where we're like, okay, you got to be consistent. You got to do yes to all of those things. But that's level 3. That's phase 3 of the freedom formula. Right. So that's
Okay, I love it. Okay, so phase 1, book 1 is
data survival, right? And
got it.
and build our safety, capacity, and energy.
Love
And
it.
from there, you're resourced. You're going out, you're like, okay, what's next? And now we're going to really look at those underlying thought patterns, your operating system that tell you if I don't say yes all the time, people won't like me. Well, that's not consistent with what you want for your life. So we have to look at that. We have to look at I'm not worthy unless I'm productive enough or unless I'm achieving this and all the other thought systems that we developed in response to our environment. We have to look at that and figure out who the heck am I? What's
Yeah.
true and authentic to me? And we have to start living that way. We have to make choices that reflect that and, be in life that way. and that's the second. So now we have our capacity, our energy, our safety. We have our clarity around who we are and what we want. Now, the third book is own it. You've done the work. Now go. We're going to build the life. And that's where we come in. We're like, okay, let's build this thing, right? What are your dreams? And it can be, and I love that you say over and over, and I do the same thing. I've got some things that are just like this. Like, why the hell am I doing this? It doesn't matter why we're doing this. It just doesn't matter. The thing is it was on your heart for 10 years, and I always wanted to go to the Olympics when I was a kid. And I was like, no, that was not. I'm going to the Olympics next year, to the senior national games, which is like the Olympics for us midlife older people,
Wait,
right?
you're competing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
wait,
I
Lori.
have to qualify in June,
Wait,
but
running?
yes. Yeah.
Lori. Oh my gosh. You have to come back on
Yeah,
after
we had
the
to talk
Olympics.
about, right? Yeah.
Lori. No, I pretend I'm Serena Williams. The bodybuilding is my like passion to be a professional
Touch
athlete.
your greatness. Yeah, to be the greatest version of you, and that's what this is about.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
And who cares, And I talked to my husband about this the other day. I'm like, why do I do this other than, because it's hard because I really want to go into my these later years. I want as much muscle as I can put on because that's
Yes.
health. That is health. And so
Yes.
my goals are competing with each other,
Right.
and right do not go together.
Correct.
They do not.
Not
Uh,
correct. Correct.
yeah, so I'm trying to, I straddle that line between, doing that and all that, and I, think about it, and I think maybe I should just, go for the muscle and just stop this. I'm like,
No, go for the gold.
I
No,
can't,
Lori,
I
God,
got to go for gold,
for the gold.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
won't reach my absolute fastest because I'm not willing to sacrifice my muscle because I know how hard it is to. But who cares? I said and my child knew I belonged in the Olympics. So I wasn't able to give it to her early on for whatever reason. I can now. And you know what? If I don't make it till I'm 85, who cares? I'm
Who
going.
cares? Because guess what? If you're that 85-year-old, then you're going to be the most celebrate. Oh my gosh, Lori, I am helping you get to the Olympics. We are going to the.
We're going to the Olympics. Absolutely. So whatever it is, own it. I've had women who say, I
Oh, yes.
wanna write a book. I wanna climb this mountain. I wanna, all the way down to I wanna learn to play the guitar. Right?
Yes.
Whatever
Yes.
it is. It's
It's so true.
yours.
Whatever it is, and my coach, I'm obsessed. You should follow my coach, Michelle McDonald,
Hmm.
on Instagram, and her it's the Wonder Woman uh, group, and I mean, so much of it is mindset, right? It's
For sure. Oh
let's
my
do the
God.
bot. Yes, that's the hardest part. But and then again, like the words you say to yourself, because she goes, no, you're an athlete now.
Yeah.
You're an athlete.
Yeah.
And she says that to our team all whether you're competing or not. She does lifestyle sciences also, but change your mind frame. You don't have to be on stage. You don't have to be at the Olympics to be an athlete.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
100%.
it's fine. That's even saying it today, like it feels weird. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
but owning it.
Owning
Owning it.
exactly. Whatever it is for you,
Whatever it is.
we can get there. You can get there. And that's
And
what that you hold space for that, and I hear it in every episode.
oh,
That's what you're reminding us always, nothing is off limits. And
well,
when you're
Laura,
not doing it, I have to say this, when you're not doing it to to claim your worth, then it's very different. And that's what I heard you as you were describing your experience. You were like, "My goal was to get here." And that was meaningful. You didn't hang your worth. You didn't come away from that. I didn't come home with, the number one prize or whatever, and so therefore I'm not worthy, right? You were like, "I did this for me. I exceeded my goal in some ways," you know? And
Laura,
that
I freaked out the second before I got on the stage. I looked around at like all of us. I'm like, I'm 54 years old in a sparkly bikini. What the hell? And that can't even walk in. And I did have a moment. I'm like, just get out there. You didn't.
that's your adaptation. That was your adaptation.
It was.
coming to, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Are you sure? I'm here to protect you.
Yes.
Can you handle this? If it doesn't go like in the ultimate way, can you handle this? Are you sure?" And you said, "Yeah, bitch, let's go." And you walked out to the Queen song that reaffirmed, that this was in fact alignment, and that's it, and that's how you
And
know?
my legs cramping, and I'm waving
Yeah.
my arms like a lunatic. Oh my god, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, Lori, I mean, I could talk to you for hours.
I
I
know.
could talk to you for
Sorry.
hours, and this will
I can't
continue.
believe what time it is.
I know.
Gosh, it
This will
feels like
all
5 minutes.
but first, everyone, you are not the problem. I mean, let's just say Lori did not have the happiest upbringing, right? But look at the fact that is it safe to say you almost made it your superpower? Like you made these
100%.
your
Yeah.
experiences
Yeah.
are now your superpower.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we have as like get a certain amount of satisfaction and joy, and I just deferred mine. I'm getting it now. All of
And it's
those
never too late.
it's never too
But
late.
a lot of them are, especially in midlife, we gave all to all our kids and our
Right.
family, and which is great.
Yeah.
We lost ourselves.
Yep.
And it's never ever too late. So, okay, where can we find you, Lori? You guys, you have to, I want you to explain all the details when the book comes out. In the meantime, you have to download her introduction. Sign up for it. Go to your website, which is
LoriMontry.com.
LoriMontry.com, but it's
Mhm.
LoriMontry.com. Download the introduction. I mean, like I said, the highlighting I did, you will be so inspired just by this. And you'll be on her email list to when is book one coming out?
Yeah, it's releasing on April 25th. Well, maybe a little before. The 25th is the local party here, the launch. And so maybe a week or two before to kind of get get everything rolling, but just in a few weeks here.
And where can people find the book?
It's gonna be on Amazon, it's gonna be on the website. Yeah,
Is
it'll be
it
around.
digital? Is there a paperback or is it all digital?
It will be in all forms. I recorded the audio, so we'll have that available on Audible. We've got the Kindle, the ebook, and the hardcover. Hold it in your hand. So, well, however you like to experience it, it'll be
Yeah,
really.
I'm still a hard copy. I got to highlight.
Me
I'm
too.
old school.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I printed this out just so I could like highlight and write. But
All of my
okay,
books, full in the reference.
Lori,
Yeah.
I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Mm.
Thank you for your honesty. This was very brave for you to do and put out in the world.
Yeah.
And you've already changed my life. I mean, I've already have a whole new outlook. You guys, you have to download this. You will get nuggets out of it. Like she says, we all have adaptations, and maybe the ones you're used to aren't serving you anymore.
Mhm.
You're not the problem, and you can live the life you want. And Lori's
Yes.
here to help us all. Thank God.
Yeah. We're all you have everything you need inside you, which is the best part. I'm just gonna show you how to reconnect with that. That's it.
Yes, and that I think is a big thing is we do have an is, but some of us don't know how to tap into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Lori, thank you.
Thank you for the fun and for all the work you're doing in the world. It's amazing, and I've enjoyed it.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. And we're going to the Olympics. You're going for gold.
Here we
I
go.
mean, you're coming back with, you know what, whether you get a medal or not, you're going to get yourself there.
Exactly.
You're going to
That
have to
is my
celebrate.
goal. That is my goal. I am not a medal contender, but I'm going.
Who knows? So, why limit yourself? Who knows? Talk to you soon.
And that's it for this week. If this episode made you laugh, nod, or think, oh my God, same, hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss out on all the fun. So see you next time on Now What? And remember, midlife isn't a crisis, it's just a plot twist.